We're going to talk a little Star Wars today. Who was it? I can't remember who was it who was asking about the ship from the Bad Batch. And look, here it is. So as I kind of suspected, I didn't know, but here it is in the Hot Wheels Starship line. It's called the Havoc Marauder, which I kind of hate the name. It's just so random. It doesn't really fit in with a lot of the like established kind of ship name stuff. Oh, and Arsenal, thank you so much for the resubscription. I appreciate that. So what do we got here? Standard packaging for these things. It does have the Bad Batch logo over here. Somewhere it says, it says new, just in case you missed that. Very little information. There is a new wave of ships, reprints of the Millennium Falcon and Luke's speeder. I believe that's just a reprint, and then Obi-Wan's fighter, which I have so many of these, so I didn't pick up this one. I did see it at the store. Sandcrawler, and then this one's actually kind of cool. It's General Grievous's wheel bike, and he's sort of all tucked up in there. It's kind of silly. I did see that one also at the store. So let's open this up. Now, there is a long and very interesting tradition of shuttles in Star Wars, which we will look at in just a minute. Oh yes, Naeem and his chaos ways. Now, if you're not watching the Bad Batch, it's actually really interesting. Oh, the wings move. I don't want to break it getting out of the package. There we go. The Bad Batch is really interesting. It takes place at the literally at the very end of the Clone Wars. The very opening of the first episode is basically Order 66. So you get to see that from some other perspectives, and then what's going on with the clones, and Death Guard, so gross. So gross. And then you find out about some. Well, I mean, we've met the main characters of Bad Batch in the other show, and then they got their own show. But essentially, if you haven't watched anything, the Bad Batch are a group of clone troopers who are divergent, I suppose you would say. So they came out a little different, and then was that an accident? Was it on purpose? We're finding out more about them. Each one has, some better things about him, some maybe worse things. They don't fit in, and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, we see Order 66 happening, and then we see the beginning of the Republic turning into the Empire, and what that means for clone troopers turning into stormtroopers. So yeah, that's pretty cool in that way. Okay, so here we have the Havoc Marauder. Now again, there's a tradition in Star Wars to have shuttles that have this overall basic shape. This one takes things in a weird direction with this big old fin that goes forward on top with this big notch here, and then like a whole separate, essentially, pilot's compartment, and the shape is a little weird. Standard gray color we see on a lot of things. As usual on these, the sculpted detail isn't bad. And then, of course, the paint doesn't really do it a lot of justice. It's not terrible, though. There's like this interesting connector section here in between the main hull and the forward section, which is kind of cool. It's got some kind of blasters on the sides. Noteworthy is this little compartment in the back that becomes somebody's room. I'll say, if you haven't been watching the show, I will not give you spoilers, or at least not too many. And then again, it is cool that the wings do fold up for landing. But of course, you've got the display stand anyway. All right. So going back in time in Star Wars, all the way to the beginning, we have the standard Lambda class shuttle, Imperial shuttle. So yeah, you'll remember this from the original movies. We see it a few different times. Darth Vader's got one. They use one in Return of the Jedi. So I've got this in a bunch of different versions. This is from the old Star Wars. I always forget the name of this. Starship Battles. Anyway, it was a miniature game of spaceships. The game wasn't particularly good, but it was kind of fun. They had a bunch of cool ships. So you see, this is a dark side ship. Costs 18 points. It's Imperial shuttle generically, and like every ship in this set came bent, as you can see on those lower fins there. Fleet battles, maybe. That's yeah. I there have been so many spaceship games over the years that have had. They're all essentially the same name, just with slight swap out of battle or ship or fleet or yeah. Oh, can they link that? I don't know if that's TOS to show ships docking together like that. So like I said, I have this classic ship in a million different versions. Here's the titanium version with moving the wings that fold up. There have been very slight differences in these over the years with regards to, especially with cannons on the wings. Sometimes they'll add them, sometimes they won't be there. Ooh, come on, focus. There we go. So you see here they added the little guns that swivel around, which is kind of cool on this one. And again, obviously the wings fold up for landing, boop, and then fold down for flight. You can display it however you want, but usually I have them down. I'll put that away later. One of the coolest ones is from way back. Right, exactly. Everything fits together after dark. So this is the old Action Fleet, and it came in a set. They did a couple of these in this. It's kind of funny looking back at these old Action Fleet. These are Micro Machines Action Fleet vehicles, and they're really adorable. They're scaled so that you can put little figures in them. They came with a little tiny Micro Machine figure line, but they really tried to pack a lot of detail in these. Like there's like some wear on the fin here. It's got nice bright blue engines. The proportions are just terrible, but it's cute. It's kind of pudgy. And then this was in the prototype line. So it came with the main ship, and then a little offshoot was a ship based on an early design for that ship. So this is like based on an early rendering for what the shuttle might look like. Now, if you say, hey, that looks familiar, they ended up using something similar to this for Palpatine's shuttle at the end of episode 3. He has his own little shuttle that appears for just a second in the background when he's going to Mustafar to rescue Darth Vader all burned up. And I think I have a toy of that somewhere, but I couldn't find it. But I could be wrong. I have so many. Luca was good. We literally just watched the trailer with the kids, so we'll watch it at some point. We usually have a movie night around about once a week with the kids. So anyway, this was a really cool line that they did with the Action Fleet. Again, giving you 2 ships, one in the standard Action Fleet scale, and then one in like roughly, well, a little bit bigger than regular Micro Machine scale, but these little guys, which are cool. Yeah, I have lots. Just going through to dig up the ships I wanted to show this morning, I was like, There were things I couldn't find, things I found that I forgot I had. It happens. So yeah, they did a whole series of these. I'm trying to think of all the ones they did with this. There was a TIE fighter. There was an X-wing. Oh, there's a snow speeder. Yeah, they did a bunch of these. They're great. Okay, so we've got standard Lambda class shuttle. And then we have seen variants. So there was this shuttle that was... And again, I don't remember the names of all these things. But obviously, this is the wide body version. This one is thick. So it can carry a whole bunch of extra people or material. It does even have the folding wings, which, I don't know, to me makes it look even fatter because they're really little and stubby. Got the engine design in there. So this one's kind of cool. Part of me likes it when they come out with alternate versions of, like, very specifically alternate versions of things. But then another part of me always thinks, like, wait a minute. So they build all of their ships to fit this in somewhere, and then they come out with this, which is clearly so much bigger. Where do they put this thing? If everything is already built for this. But it's fine. The Imperium, or the Empire, somehow comes out with just ship after ship after ship, new capital ships every 10 minutes. There's a YouTube channel called Eckhart's Ladder, and he does all of these. I know, Imperium, Empire, they're so similar. But he does deep dives on, like, every Star Wars ship ever, even, like, the ones that are, background ones that you just see for a second, or they're rumored to have existed in one property or another. Good videos. Alright, so we've got the wide body shuttle. Then in Rogue One, got this shuttle. Now, obviously, this one's a little bit different. It's sort of all one main body that goes straight across, rather than having the separate, or sort of separate cockpit section. Hey, Aridance, we're looking at some Star Wars spaceships. This one has these big ol' wings that come down. No central fin, unlike most of the other ones, but not all. We'll see a couple of them that don't have those. And this one notably had this orange underbelly, and it does have little tiny landing gear and an opening hatch in the front, which is kind of a cool detail, although also kind of unnecessary on a toy this small. Other variants from the movie Solo, we have this thing. Now, we're also diverging into other kinds of shuttle-y things. Rabid Wombat, thank you so much for the resubscription. 15 whole months. And you're never late. We're just looking at some Star Wars ships. So we had this really weird-looking cargo hauler thing in Solo. I guess it's not technically a shuttle, but it has some similarities, I guess. And this is one it can go up like this, and it's got poopy feet, and it's just a really weird design. I don't know. I guess it's not really a shuttle, but it's kind of a shuttle. Kind of a cargo hauling thing. In the later movies, we get Kylo Ren's shuttle. Now that takes the original design and ratchets it up to a crazy degree with these just absolutely ridiculously enormous wings that even extend further when the wings change shape. Again, they've gotten rid of the fin. But overall, the bottom, it sort of incorporates the forward cockpit section more into like an integrated main body. Rabbit Pommet says, honestly, some of these later designs of Star Wars ships don't make much sense. That's fair. That is entirely fair. Yeah. And then, if you remember when we've looked at this ship before, so here's the titanium version, and yeah, you can see how like the wings would extend out. These don't actually move. They just made these. This is hard plastic. This is flimsy plastic to save on material costs. But again, this was the weird thing where this toy came out when the movie did, and weirdly, it's in white, like the original one. But then when we all watched the movie, the ship was black. And other toys that came out slightly later were in black. And why is this? Everybody say it with me. Toys are designed, toys go into production, the toys start production up to 1 year before they hit shelves. So toys that are based on a movie or a TV show, if they're scheduled to release when the new thing comes out, it means that they're based on early designs, which may change in the production process before the final thing comes out. So there. And like I said, obviously with every ship I have multiple versions of these things. So most of them are in black, but this first one that came out was in this pearly white color. And then, let's see. Blame Scott. Yeah, it's all me. It's all me behind the scenes, screwing things up. And then one of the more kind of interesting alternate shuttle designs that actually kind of brings us a little bit back to this one. And a design that I actually really like is this one. So this is a clone trooper used, I think they call this an attack shuttle. So this takes a lot of the design cues we've seen before, but just makes it a lot more aggressive. It's got this like really blunt nosed front with a hatch that opens up. Obviously a bunch of blasters on it. It's kind of like hunched down. Kind of looks angry. Doesn't have a big fin, just a little bump on the back. These more, I don't know, you could call them aggressively folded wings. I think this is the only toy that they ever made of this design. It wasn't. It hasn't appeared in a lot, but it did. It actually, this one is in the Bad Batch as well. So who knows? They might make more. They might make more toys. I'd love to see this in this line. So get a little bit bigger one. Would be cool. Right, attack, not protect. But yeah, and so it was interesting seeing these two on screen near each other. Oh, Yoda, so there are, I'm trying to remember. Okay, so Yoda has his own, well, there have been a couple of toy Yoda Jedi starships. Oh, well, I mean, yeah, scale goes all out the window. But yeah, they've done a couple of the Jedi starships just in green and called it Yodas. So that's why it's in quotes. But then, yeah, there's Yoda. There's one design for a Yoda ship that's like a little tiny. It almost looks like a little tiny TIE fighter variant in green. Yeah, they've made a couple different things. But then there's like his actual pod that he lands. There's a whole bunch of. There are so many thousands of ships in Star Wars, it's ridiculous. And I have a lot of them in toy form. So yeah, if you're not watching Bad Batch, you should check it out. It's fun. I haven't seen, I'm sure there are people who are talking about it who don't like it because not really spoilers, but there's a little girl character So watch out for that. But I think it's pretty good. And it's funny that you get to the credits of the show, and it's in the Bad Batch. It's 5 guys. 5, right? Sometimes. And the credits just say the Bad Batch, and they're all voiced by the same guy. And I always wonder, does he go in and lay down his lines for each character and do all of the lines for that character before switching to another character? Or does he go into the studio and just have a whole conversation with himself as 5 different characters at the same time? I wonder. Yeah, it is the D. Bradley Baker show. Exactly, that's an answer. And he is a super nice guy. I got to meet him at an event a million years ago. Or at least he was nice then. I assume he's still nice. Alright, so that's a little rundown of Star Wars Imperial shuttles. Well, Imperial, Republic, a little mix. Yeah, so the new current one. And the ship doesn't seem to be all that really effective. Like, other bad guys find this all the time. It's not super stealthy. It doesn't seem to be super great at combat. I think like the fact that it's extended like this is mainly just so that they can live on it for extended periods of time. That seems to be really the only upside it has. It has more room for people. But it's an interesting design. Different. Yeah, exactly, Nerdy Duck. If you've watched any Star Wars animated stuff, Baker is so many voices, so many characters. It's pretty great. We're gonna look at some of the HeroClix I've got in lately, because looking at HeroClix is super fun. Like I said, I've been trading for the relatively few HeroClix figures out there that I don't have that I want. There's another one coming up. There's an Archangel figure in the new X-Men set that's coming out imminently, so I'm gonna need that one. I need it so bad. But I also want to talk about some other stuff. What have I been doing lately? Yeah, so I'm up on Loki. 2 episodes so far. If you haven't watched that, no spoilers. Loki's interesting. The first episode is kind of like, all right, what the heck's going on? What is all this new stuff? I think I like the second episode a little bit more. We got into some action, got to see some crazy stuff. So definitely check that out if you haven't already, which I'm sure most of you are watching Loki already. Bad Batch. I watched a movie called Revenge. Oh, thank you, Darrow. Yes, I did win. I won at Life and Warhammer last night. Take that for what you will. Has anybody seen the movie Revenge from 2017? That was a hell of a movie. It is a revenge-style thriller, I guess you might say. Kind of in the lines of I Spit on Your Grave. I think that's the one that it's most like. It was interesting. Very, very gory. Super gory. So if you're not into horrific wounds and things, I don't recommend it. Yeah, this was a movie. I think it was in 2017. Nobody. There's only like 4 people in the movie, and none of them are big name people. It was well done, but yeah, extremely gory. Who is this character? Does anybody know? Have I given it away? I have shown it on... I took a picture of it on Discord. But this is the first appearance, which most of you probably have not read, But this is what Groot looked like the first time he appeared in Marvel Comics. He was this giant, blocky, creepy, wooden alien who comes to Earth, smashes things up, and then the scientist has to figure out how to get through to him. What is this monster from space? So they finally made a HeroClix figure of first appearance Groot, which I didn't have. He was a super rare colossal figure from this set, which I didn't get a lot of. Yeah, it is actually Groot. Looks quite a bit different from the modern Groot that most of us are familiar with. But yeah, I was like, I want that Groot. I'm pretty sure I have every other Groot in HeroClix. I wish my HeroClix were more accessible to be able to grab stuff out quickly. Oh, this is how it came. It is painted. Yeah, it looks like they just made him out of gray plastic and then threw a wash on him, barely. But yeah, my HeroClix are all in... Well, my Colossals are on... Well, okay. Some of my Colossals are on display up on shelves. A lot of them are in a closet, just taking up a massive amount of space. And then all of my HeroClix standard size figures are highly organized in a closet in... Oh, wow. Camera does not like that picture. I think it was too much light. Anyway, they're in like a million boxes, almost floor to ceiling. Which is great for organization when I need to find a specific figure, but terrible for, let me go grab this figure so I can show it on stream really quick. How high is my ceiling? Not high enough, because the boxes, yeah, I need to find room for for more HeroClix. Yeah, Janelle has a few HeroClix over there. And some of those awesome WWE HeroClix. In theory, we're getting more at some point, but that set's kind of... It's been so delayed, and then we just haven't heard anything more about it. But yes, I have all of the other Groots. They've done large, like, giant-size Groots. They've done some itty-bitty little Groots, like Baby Groot. And then they've done other colossal Groots. So there's a colossal Groot that's a lot bigger and narrower than this one. And they did two. They used the same sculpt for a Groot and then like a generic Flora Colossus. And they were kind of flimsy to begin with, and both of mine have just completely collapsed over. Just standing on a shelf in, I don't know, I guess Southern California heat, but they've really collapsed. It's a mess. I gotta fix those at some point. So anyway, we've got first appearance Groot. I know they even told us like some of the figures that are gonna be in this second wave of WWE. They gotta be here eventually. So we've got Douglock, Cypher mixed with Warlock, and this was just an uncommon, but I didn't have it, so I was like, hey, I can get that in a trade. This is a repaint. They use the same figure in just sort of normal look, and then all in gold for his melding with the Warlock entity. Oh, Indomitable was so great. There are definitely Indomitable fans here who are watching. We frequently hear people remembering and asking if we could do it again one day. It's not up to me. I'll just put it that way. Other sort of random Marvel stuff. I got Bastion, which I think I've talked about before. Bastion was like well, very convoluted storyline, but I think I showed this one off, right? Because he's got that good butt. I know I showed some of these, but not but then there's a new batch. Bastion Sentinel from the future sometimes. Agent Anti-Venom can heal people from their symbiote afflictions. Repaint of regular Agent Venom. It's just a palette swap, black for white, but it looks pretty cool. So in the Justice League Unlimited show, we deal with lots of parallel universe versions of characters, and in this one, the Justice League, the evil versions from another world were the Justice Lords. So these are Green Lantern and Flash from the Justice Lords. This Flash is actually a robot. And what's cool about these is that they just have the regular names. So if you have other figures that have effects that key off of an ally named Green Lantern or the Flash, these will work. This Green Lantern, even though he's Justice Lords and he's evil, he does have the Green Lantern keyword and the Green Lantern team ability, so you can use him on your Green Lantern teams and do all the normal Green Lantern stuff, which is fun. I did get traded for a Flash figure, but this isn't any of the normal Flashes, and this was a figure you could only get from a prize kit, but this is actually, I always forget his name, but this is the Dial H for Hero character who turns into some other superheroes at some point. He's got a Ken, I don't know. It's on a card somewhere. Arsenal Roy, what's his name? He's got a cool dial because he starts off as just a basic human, and then he turns the dial and boom, turns into the Flash, or gets all the Flash's powers. Let's see. In the new Wonder Woman set, it's not Reed. It's the one who was in the previous Dial H comic book. I can't remember my comic book knowledge is failing me. I'll look it up. I'll post it in the Discord. We'll talk about it later. So in the new Wonder Woman set, there was one random Red Sun figure. So you see this cool Red Sun base hammer, USSR hammer and sickle inside of a Superman logo. So this is Lex Luthor from the Red Sun world. If you're not familiar with Red Sun, I highly recommend it. You may want to stop before the last couple pages, but that's up to you. Red Sun basically posits an alternate world where Superman's capsule from Krypton does not land in the heartland of the United States. No, it lands in the USSR. Nelson Gent. Thank you, Arsenal Roy. It's one of those. Obviously, it's a comic booky name with Gent, but I always get it mixed up. Yeah, the Nelson Gent run of Dial H was actually really, really good. A poor schlub gets the Dial H device, but then finds out that there's this older lady who's had one and has been a superhero with it for a long time, and then there's these like crazy villains. It was pretty cool. That's good blue water. So anyway, Superman lands in the USSR and becomes a Soviet hero, while in the United States, everything is going to crap. But Lex Luthor is there, and he's brilliant, and he comes up with all these crazy plots to take down Superman and to try to save the world. You get some really cool alternate versions of characters like Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern. Who else is in that one? Bizarro is really interesting how he's depicted. So just in Elseworlds book, it's only a couple issues long. Usually you find it just in the trade. It does have a really wacky ending to it that some people just pretend doesn't exist, which is fine. So a number of sets ago, the chase theme for the set, so all the chases were the Red Sun characters, and then this is one that we can add to it. Oh, there was a Brainiac. So I have all of those chases, so I was like, all right, I got to get the new Red Sun figure to complete the set. And so I did. This one is kind of cool. So he's got it. Lex is reading a newspaper here, and it says, man, I can't even read this. Superman sighted at San Diego Naval Base, and then the back says Isaac Arnold Berkowitz. Basically, if you win a major HeroClix event, you can design a figure or suggest a figure at least. So that's who proposed to WizKids to make this figure. So he got his name on the back of this this newspaper. I know my my eyesight is definitely deteriorating as I get older. So yeah, cool Lex Luthor figure. I know, right? How big those headlines are. There's only like 6 words on that page. So much wasted space. Ruiner, good question. Newspaper. We show our kids all sorts of old movies and stuff, and newspapers will come up, and we have to explain what a newspaper is. So many great things. From the last Fantastic Four sets, well, in both of them actually, we got a couple of previous Heralds of Galactus. So I picked up the Stardust figure, which is pretty cool. Just really shiny, pretty. I'm sure there are other storylines, but I really only know Stardust from the character's appearance in a Beta Ray Bill story, where first they fight, then they fight together. They do not get intimate, I'm afraid, but Stardust is cool. I have the old Stardust figure, so I figured might as well get the new one. Also from the new Wonder Woman set, we've got, they did obviously a million different versions of Wonder Woman, so I wanted to get the one with pants because I think she's really cool. I like this outfit, and it's just a really cool figure. And then she came with the lasso. Most of the Wonder Woman figures in the set, you could give them a Wonder Woman equipment, so they had these separate little things. They could play with them and then equip other ones, switch them out between them. Most of these that I'm showing off so far are just rares. We'll get to some other more rare stuff in a moment. Also from that same set, Giganta. I love Giganta. They've done some really cool different versions, except she looks like she had a little accident there. Crappy paint job. What are you gonna do? But this is the Prime Giganta, so more rare than the regular one. Giganta, if you might remember, in all of her first appearances, she's a giant lady, and she would appear in a leopard skin bikini for for most of her villainous career. Thankfully, later on, they gave her some other outfits that were a little bit cooler. So yeah, so the regular version of Giganta is just a bad guy. This Giganta sometimes works with good guys. Yeah. This is the oops, I crapped my pants version of Giganta. I like the giant figures. I have a whole bunch of them. Alright, and then from a few sets ago, over on the Marvel side, look at this thing. Look at this. Boom! So this is Destroyer Thor. So it's Thor with Mjolnir wearing the Destroyer armor. And they did a really good job. This is a pretty rad figure. What do you want, Max? And this is also the Prime, so there are 2 versions of this one. I still need to get the regular version. But yeah, it just looks so cool. And if this was the old days, this figure would be probably more than 300 points. But because it only came out a couple years ago, it's a measly... I can't even see, the cape is so big. Well, anyway, much lower point values these days. But yeah, this figure, I don't probably will never play it, but I just got it because it looks really cool. I'm looking at HeroClix. What are you doing?
Eating breakfast.
Okay, good.
I'm eating a giant cheeseburger, the biggest one in the world.
Okay, all right, go eat your breakfast. Archangel, I must have them all. Warren Worthington III is a character I particularly like from Marvel Comics. So this was a super rare from the X-Men animated set. And kind of a cool design for the character. Essentially, at the beginning of the game, you choose, or you are automatically assigned the highest point figure on your enemy's team, and you have a vendetta against that figure. Basically, recreating the storyline where he's going after Apocalypse. So for most of his dial, he runs around shooting at people, but then if he sees his target figure, he can switch over to a separate click toward the end with charge and super strength, and he can run in and try to smash that enemy and then revert back to his other clicks. So cool design. We've seen that kind of design on HeroClix before, but an interesting choice for an Archangel. Okay, and then the really exciting things for my lantern collections. This is the weirdest one. This is Harley Quinn as a red and black lantern all at once. So she's got red constructs, black constructs, all sorts of crazy stuff. This was, yeah, I don't even know. I also really I have a small collection of HeroClix with misprints, because misprints happen. So on this base, I don't know if you can see, but they double stamped it, slightly offset, so it has this like, no, your eyes are not going bad, they're not deceiving you. It is double stamped. So when I went to trade, it's not so bad on this side, but it's super noticeable on the point value right there. So the person I was trading with, they said, oh, I have that figure you're looking for, but I'm really sorry. There's a misprint on the base. I was like, oh, I'll take it. I want it even more now. Sometimes you get figures on another person's base, or with a different person's dial. Those things happen. Yeah. Quality control. It's hard. So yeah, so this was a super rare from a recent set. There's a prime version of this that's a Green Lantern Harley, which I'm about to trade for. So then I'll have both versions. I did have trouble reading newspaper, that's true. But no, that is, I can see that that's double printed. You all can see it. I'm not making it up. Alright, and then the other lanterns that I got recently. So from the recent Wonder Woman set. So again, Jessica Cruz was the first one I got in. Joining her is Itty Bitty Chip. And I realized when I was looking at these that the super rares and the chases have these really cool bases where it shows off their whatever specific lantern core they're in. But anything that's... Actually, no, not all of them, because he's a super rare too. But then some of them just have regular bases. And I was like, that's annoying. They all should have had the cool lantern bases. Why, WizKids? Why did you do this to me? They don't go together. I'm bummed out about that. And similarly, the rare Star Sapphire has a terrain base, But the Chase Star Sapphire Wonder Woman has one of these lantern bases. So I don't know why that was. Joining those, I finally got my Hal Jordan Green Lantern, super rare. He's got his lantern, jumping up in the air. They got a nice shiny green paint for this one. I like that. And then this one came with the Catcher's Mitt construct, which we've seen in the comics so many times over the years. Good for catching people and things. And then I also got the Hal Jordan Chase figure in the Sinestro Corps. And as people have noted, his costume here is very similar to how he looks in the Injustice video games, or so I'm told. I don't know about video games. And then he came with a cowboy boot construct to go kick people's butts. WizKids has switched the plastic they use for a lot of figures. In theory, it can hold more detail. Unfortunately, it's kind of flimsy. So, here's another interesting fun fact for everybody. When you have a figure that is primarily one color or has something special about it, that can actually affect how the whole figure is made. And let me give you an example. So here, we have a figure with a translucent section. Now, how do they make this figure? Well, obviously, if it's a separate part that attaches, that they've glued on, then it's basically they make this piece separate, they glue it on, and it's all good. But if it is integral to the figure, if it's not a separate piece, if it's all together, well, then they have to figure out how they're going to make this. So oftentimes what happens is if you have something translucent, the entire figure is actually translucent, and then it's just painted over because they can only use one kind of plastic for the injection molding. Jessica, good morning. We're talking about HeroClix and getting super nerdy. You have something I need to play on my stream. Okay. So for this figure, I'm not going to scrape off the paint, but what I imagine is that this whole figure is translucent and they've just painted over it. Do I have desktop sound captured? I don't know. Maybe. I mean I can if I play something. But translucent plastic has different properties, so because of that, his arm is also flimsy with this flimsier plastic. So, long story to get to that point. Do I have desktop? What is that? Like if I play something, will the sound come through? Is that what you're asking me? I'm a pro streamer, but that only goes so far. Hi. There have been... Sometimes people have figured out cool things you can do with these figures. There were some Iron Man figures that had translucent parts that people figured out that the actual base figure was completely made of translucent plastic, just painted over. And if you get the right kind of paint stripper, you can actually dip those figures into it and then remove the paint and get an all translucent figure. Or what people figured out is if they were very careful and held the figure at an angle and just dipped it in part way, they could get a figure that essentially was looking like it was phasing or becoming translucent. And there are all sorts of cool effects you can do like that. Similarly with toys and figures, like I was saying, if they're primarily one color, typically that is actually the color of the plastic, and then any other color is painted on. So, fun fact. And then last but not least, not from this latest set, but from a few sets ago, I got my Chase Green Lantern Super Friends. So based on the cartoon, a little bit of a goofier retro style, but it's a Green Lantern. I gotta have it. These figures are super inexpensive. So there's what, 70 points or 30 points, but they've got all these fun mechanics where you can bring them in with trouble alerts. That's trouble alert combined into one word, trouble alert. Oh, Jessica, tell us your joke. So there. Jessica says, I had to fire the guy I hired to mow the lawn. He just didn't cut it. Boom! Let's see if this will work. Okay, we're going to attempt. We're going to attempt to play something. I don't think this is going to work. If I do. Oh, this is the new episode, right? Darrow, thank you so much for all of your jokes. They are very appreciated. Okay, let's see what I can do here. I want a window capture. That's what I want. I want a new window capture called that. Ooh, my computer is super hot right now. Super hot. I want that window. How do I make sure the sound is coming in? It's automatic. That's good. Match title. I don't know what that means, but we'll do that. Okay. So I have this going. Can you hear that? Can everybody hear that? That should work, right? No, you can't hear it? It's really? Oh, through them. Oh, because I'm not wearing headphones. I see. I don't know. I'm bad at this stuff. What do I have to do? Oh, so it's gonna. Wait. But yeah, because if I hear it, then. Okay, we'll try this.
Nick,
Yes.
yesterday you weren't sure if we were recording, and
Okay, we're going to 8:15.
I wasn't able to respond to your tweet until after 10 a.m.
It's not the Mario
my
song,
time.
buddy. No.
When was the last? I do remember my example.
Oh, 8:15. Oh, it doesn't scrub very well.
That's so mean. Sorry.
Okay, we'll get there.
I couldn't
Wait.
find the out, so I wanted to be mean.
That was me.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Honestly, the type of dreaming I've had, I promise you people will be.
Almost there.
Okay. Great. You've whetted their appetite. For sure.
I've set expectations so high.
Truly. Nick, I don't want to talk about anything else but one thing today, and you're going to be so surprised by this. My friend Scott Rubin wrote a book, and it's called Naming Your Little Geek. Can you imagine what that book might be about?
Well, since I feel like you're doing a segue into our live read, I'm gonna guess the little geek is your little friend. Is your little downstairs neighbor? Your little buddy?
Oh,
No?
So we're not going to talk about that. We're literally only going to talk about a book today. And
I thought, how could you write a whole book just on naming? But I guess maybe there was a philosophy that how you name it is important, and what you name
Wow.
but here's the thing: you could use his book to name such a thing as your down there region, if that interested you.
Got it. Okay.
So, like, if
I'm not
you were
like
that kind of
totally
person-
off base.
Well, yes, 100% off base, but I'm just saying the possibilities are boundless. So he wrote a book called Naming Your Little Geek, and it is an entire index of names in geeky culture. So it goes from DC, Marvel, to Star Wars, to Battlestar Galactica. He's compiled all the names so that if you wanted to name your child or your vagina something geeky, you could flip through the book.
There you go.
So I like I could name my
Oh God,
kid,
no.
no.
Yes, you could.
Han Solo or
Yeah, you could. And he would.
Whoa,
give you
look
the
at that.
reason as
And that was
to,
in
like the history of Han Solo.
And
So
Darrow,
not
that
hey,
that
Han
just
Solo's
triggered
the name. You get
Han,
you
that's
want
awesome.
More information about that. So
about how my penis ran the Kessel Run.
yes, in 8 parsecs or something.
That's amazing. I should add that to my little spiel about how you could use the book to name a kid, a pet, a car, a computer, a Wi-Fi network, your genitals. You want to name it? We can name it. That's funny. What a goofball. Someone else's kid, sure. Yeah, I mean, hey, whatever you want to name, I got you. That's awesome. I haven't had anybody have that idea upon hearing that name before for the book. Speaking of the book, we've got some cool stuff coming up. Conventions have started again. Yay, mostly yay. So I will be appearing at some conventions here in local places in upcoming months, and some of them I'm gonna have a joint booth with Chris with her soaps, and in some of them I'm going to have my own booth. So we've been working on making like a banner and how we're gonna display stuff and fun and cool things like that. So all that stuff is in the works. Oh, look at those good names there. Ender. I had to include it. Kamala, very good name. Kamala, depending on how you pronounce it. And BLR. Yeah, exactly. A soap booth is a great place to be during Germ Fest. Yeah, we're still working on exactly how we're gonna have people smell things and, in a responsible manner, both for germs and for trash, because we don't want to have disposable things that are just gonna then make a whole bunch of trash. It's a challenge. It's all a challenge, but we're figuring it out. And yeah, whatever like one copy of my book that is on display that people can actually look at, I'm just gonna have to soak it in hand sanitizer afterward or something. Spray it down. Put it in like a UV bath or something. But all that fun stuff we get to work on. There was something else I wanted to talk about today, and I'm trying to remember what it was before I wrap things up. I don't know. We did HeroClix, we did Star Wars, we talked a little bit about Warhammer last night, which was fun and crazy. Yeah, it was a little bit of a blowout last night. I don't know if they're gonna have me play again. I didn't want to go easy on them. Now the chaos stuff really helped. The chaos things that happened last night really helped the orcs and hindered the Eldar. Bottlenecking things for a central location to hold for a lot of points, and me having orc boys there. Oh, Robotech. Thank you, Arsenal Roy. Yes, I did want to mention. I'm not exactly sure. Eric, so I got there earlier, and I talked through some stuff with Eric. He was definitely familiar with the game. It was definitely Eric's first time playing Ninth Edition. I don't know if he had played previous editions before that. So thank you, Arsenal. So I just saw this morning. So I don't know exactly when the news... Oh, of course, I got rid of that window. Give me that window back. Hold on one second. Window capture. Window capture. And I love getting more people... in. It's not a secret, but I've told Hyper over and over again that I want to teach everybody who appears on Hyper, I want to teach them all how to play Warhammer, so they can all come in and be guests and do fun things. So I just saw this morning. I want to talk about it because I know I've got some Robotech fans here with me. So I saw this headline: Robotech suits up on Funimation, streaming, Blu-ray, and more this fall. So if you've been following along with the drama and the news, first of all, last year, a little while ago, Harmony Gold entered into a new deal with Funimation to be the distributor of Robotech stuff. And there wasn't a lot of news that really happened with that, but we got, okay, like, Funimation's going to be handling things. And then, of course, we got the big bombshell news that Harmony Gold and Big West and everybody is playing nice. So now we're going to see other things happening. Waiting for news like this, that not only is Robotech going to be streaming on Funimation, which we all expected was going to happen, but we've got finally Robotech Blu-rays coming out. First time. I mean, this is the first time we've had new home video content in forever. Anyway, there's going to be this gigantic, crazy special edition collector's box that comes with some crappy Toynami toys and a bunch of discs and patches and all this other garbage, whatever. But then you can just get the regular stuff. But they talk about briefly, it's high definition, but with the original aspect ratio. So when you talk about cartoons from the 80s and updates on other types of media, you get into all of these issues with aspect ratios, with how they update it, which audio do they use from which previous version. It's a mess. So essentially this one has the best of all worlds. It's going to look awesome. It does have original film grain, which is another thing, because some of the special editions that they've done before like smooth all that out, but then it doesn't look right. Yeah. So anyway, so then there will be standard releases of each separate segment of Robotech, and then yeah, you'll be able to watch everything on streaming, on Funimation streaming, including the Sentinels movie and the Shadow Chronicles movie, which is really cool. And then it says that there's more stuff coming. It says our licensing team across video games, apparel, collectibles, and publishing. And they go through a couple things. So the old Game Boy game is on Switch now. It says we're going to get apparel from BioWorld at Hot Topic, Spencer's, and Atsuko. I don't know what Atsuko is. Spencer's, I firmly believe that does not exist anymore, that was only from the 90s. They've got a couple books that have been coming out recently, and then at the very end, they sort of, under their breath, there's even a Hollywood live-action adaptation on it. Okay, maybe. We'll see if this ever actually comes true. They do like to continually mention that, at least. But yes, the big news really here that everybody was waiting for is we're getting Robotech Blu-rays. And I can't wait. Do I know anybody at Funimation? I wonder if I could get a review copy. I don't think I know anybody in Funimation. But that would be cool. Let me remove this. Okay, yeah, so that was the Robotech news, which I think is pretty cool. Very exciting. Okay, going forward, because we always got to be pushing forward. Tomorrow is Saturday. I think I'll be doing what I did 2 weeks ago. I will do a Warhammer War Room stream. It's just gonna be me. I like I said 2 weeks ago, I have guests that are very excited about being on with me. It's just my schedule is so crazy and up in the air these days. It's hard to really schedule them because I just don't know what's gonna happen, and I don't want to have to cancel on having a guest on at the last minute. So I'm holding off on guests for the time being. Hopefully we can get back to that. So I'll just be here tomorrow, chat with you about, casual chat about all the cool Warhammer stuff that's going on. If anybody had any questions about last week and the Monrovia opening, we can touch on any of that. So I'll be here for that. And then tomorrow night, Home Buddies group stream, one Jessica Lynn Verdi will be hosting. So it's sure to be crazy and fun and probably embarrassing and all that good stuff. So definitely tune in for that. 7 p.m. Pacific on the Jessica Nerdy channel. We'll, of course, have all the links in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, I just don't know what to do with you anymore. I mean, I tell you every single time. Surely there are none of you who are not in the Discord. Because, I mean, damn. Discord has just been going on forever. Yeah. I know about the animated emotes. Leave me alone. Yeah, there was so much rolling in the intro last night. And dancing and lights. and little clips of people moving and super extreme close-ups of Naeem. Yeah, if you missed last night's Warhammer show over on Hyper, it was a treat. You might want to go and watch the VOD of that. It was wild. Oh, and then the other thing. Okay, here's the most important entertainment news of the year, of the decade. I don't know. I happened to come across this news. It wasn't carried on any of the big news channels. Mike Myers, actor Mike Myers, is doing a new show on Netflix that's coming out sometime in the future. It's a spin-off show based on one of the greatest pieces of cinema ever made, How I Married an Axe Murderer. Or wait, is that whatever the title is? Axe Murder. The show is called The Pentaverate, which you remember in the movie, because I know you've all seen it, because it's such a great movie. The main character's parents are obsessed with tabloids, the papers, and conspiracy theories, and one of them is about how the world and its economy is run by the Pentaverate. And yeah, so we're gonna see some into the So I Married an Axe Murderverse. Yeah, essentially. I was scrolling through some news somewhere, and I literally just saw the word Pentaverate, and I immediately knew what it was. I love that movie. I think it's fantastic, and I was like, holy crap! And it's everything I could have wanted. Although I always forget the actress's name who was in that movie. But it does not sound like she is in this new project, which is a bummer. But, casting. But there are some other really great people who are in the show, along with Mike Myers. And Mike Myers is playing, I think it said he's playing 7 different characters. Nancy Travis, that's right, thank you. She's awesome. But, yeah, Mike Myers is doing this crazy show that's a spin-off of that movie, and who knows? I think the last thing he did was a Super Bowl commercial, or a series of Super Bowl commercials as Wayne's World with Dana Carvey. But yeah, hasn't done a lot lately. A Meyer Cinematic Universe for sure. If you seriously though, if you haven't seen So I Married an Axe Murderer, it is really a genuinely great movie. A lot of really good other people in that movie as well. Phil Hartman has a fun little cameo. I recommend it. And you better watch it before the new show comes out, so you know just what the hell is going on. You don't want to go in without that, all of that knowledge on all that lore that's built into this universe. Alan Arkin, right? Yep. Yeah, it's a fun movie. All right, so those are the plans for tomorrow. Next week is like a month away, so who knows? Hopefully, a relatively normal-ish streaming schedule, or what passes for normal these days. Yeah, the KFC. It's a good, yes. Coleman, you should rewatch that movie. It's good. Oh, maybe we should do a watch along of that at some point. There's a section about haggis in the movie. A boy is made fun of because he has such a large head. It's like Sputnik. Okay, anyway, I'm going to get going. Lots of stuff to do today. I love all you people. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Always making my streams fun. Oh, yeah, Phil Hartman stuff. But we move on. Oh, Dara, you were made fun of because you're big. I have a huge head. I always have to get like extra large hats. I mean, hey, it's the cross we bear, right? If I don't see you on the streams tomorrow, please, everyone, have an awesome weekend. Do something fun for yourself. And, yeah. I think that's all I got. I'm trying to think of what we have going on that's happening this weekend, other than streaming tomorrow. Sunday's Father's Day, so I don't know what we're doing for that. Who knows? Stop complimenting us. I know, right? We need these large heads to hold our enormous brains. Just like if you see a person with big hair, it means they have a lot of secrets. I don't know if everybody knows that. What was that cartoon? Okay, come on, all you people who are as old as I am. On MTV, there was the cartoon with the guy with the giant, with the alien living in his head, and he had a giant head. It was in what was it, Liquid? What was it called, The Head? That was Liquid? Was it Liquid TV? Back when Aeon Flux debuted and all that. I'm remembering like every third word in this. MTV's Oddities, The Head. Okay, cool. I remember that being good. Liquid Television. Cool. All right. Some of my neurons are still firing and connected. Ooh, Aeon Flux. If any of you have not watched that, or only know of that as the Charlize Theron movie, go back and watch the original cartoon. It is so good. I recently watched a few episodes. It's not very long, but I didn't finish my rewatch. But, oh man, so cool. An adult cartoon. It's mature audiences for sure, but super cool. I talk about Aeon in my book. Mostly about the cartoon. But yeah. Good stuff. Okay. We are going to... Thank you. Yes, that book. We're going to raid my buddy who is doing playing a Warhammer game. A Warhammer video game, I should say. Because you can stream all sorts of things. As always, thank you, Darrow, for hitting all those commands. Ooh, those are good names. Laurel, one of the best Klingons ever. Lita, and Serge. Cool. Yeah, so we're going to start this raid command going. Check that out, or, just go and do whatever. And yeah, have an awesome weekend, everybody. Like I said, I'll be on tomorrow, normal times, hanging out. Love to see you, if possible. And have a great weekend. Okay, I'm going to go do family stuff. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.